Ye nyina bibifo bia no ye nyina free Egypt na ede ebae. Na de enti a ama enchichemu aba no bebre no. Eye western culture. Any western democracy no. Eno na ye hunu no se entitimo. Enti ye nyina ye free Egypt na eba Israel. Na Israel ho no no. Ye won krofoku o mutimi ka omho bom etu anamon so okay ye ntu anamon ye nkope ba bi nyade. Entena. Enti no saa no ma no na ama enchichemu ede abam ntu bi ho a omo kwa omadwene hia ebi mu so adwene hia entute se oba akana mamre mu na ye na ankasa no typical Israel anase Egypt amamre na ankasa no oba West Africa ha na the whole Africa asantemaya efra na akan no omo na practices are no mani na because omo mpese omo empire ne be foil bi enti na wo hwe western world na omaya omo bu no ana tribe omo bu no paye akan because omo hunu se akan atimi ni aborofo nso akon emprenum ama abrofo no defeat akan baako enti ne saa hoden na ekuta ya na free Israel ho eba no saa hoden na ekuta ya ene saa enoma na ye nananom no omugidie omamamre na omamane no akan no nso guso eye saa noma no enti no obehwe obekọ ebia te se northern part and as a southern part and as a greater Accra ne ade na say omo no na nkranfo no bebre free Nigeria na ede e ba ha say and nkranfo ye nyina nso ye free sa ayi ho ne ba e na Egypt won so ye Africa and na Israel won so ye Africa but o hwe ye tuntum na ankasa no e free ho no no enti wo hunu say obekọ Nigeria na so obehunu Igbo fo no na so omo ye kokọ na a misbreed because of said ye abrofo ne baaye na omutime na ye nuanum bi de dai e na omawo ye but oba ya kan man mu na say ya santime mu na tuntum na ada so gu ho enti yankasa ni original people na ye free ho baaye enti empese enoma bi be fra mu enti na wokọ Israel say na tribe na omo no edi ade ni nyana no e free omo father omo mother side akan no so no free omo mother side a untimi ndi ade e ma ne ye da wo bibia mu.
So a lot of it's to do with customs. And, you know, I think when we have our brothers and our cousins from the other nations and some of the claims you've just made, I'll be really interested to hear what they have to say, you know, about that. And I will be very interested to hear what they have to say from their history and their perspective of, you know, how their nations came to be and their interpretation of the Akan people. Because although Ghana now is a new country, as you know, it's relatively new. I keep referring to this word nations. The Asantis have a nation, the Ga have a nation, where people have a nation. And I think it'll be really nice for people to hear, you know, what some of the scholars of these nations, especially from a spiritual point of view, have to say about how they've interreacted with each other over the past few centuries. I want to go back to the question in the beginning. According to our God concept, how was this world created?
Se kasi ehwe ewiase na hyase pa dia ye beka na se nyamesom no ye nananom na nke betimedi nyame ho adanse ye nti ye nananom na betimedi nyame ho adanse se ye no ba ya mamre mu a ya moye ye woye nti first person na owoye no busase ni din de say obi anim ni din
correct
na menu mienu so no ye generations no ye to aso dodo say menu mienu nyana na gise find roots from your ancestors.
Correct.
Entina ye call ye nananom mu a te se awufuo na ye gu nsa ye nsom awufuo ye kai wo mo ye nim se wo mo na abanti ye represent awufuo te se ye nananom ye die ne nyina free ye nananom na ye de.
I'm glad you said that, Nana, that you don't worship your ancestors.
Ye worship your ancestors. Ye nsom wo mo ye kai wo mo ye ana wo mo e mo hunu se sebe omo ne ba asase so kane and yen so no ye pese ye hunu ancestors a ye evidence of them because ye ne gina ho ma wo mo
absolutely
entu ko asiye bia ye si asiye ye enna so because ye nim se nipadua no na ewuo kra ne de tiase ye reincarnate enti ye pese ye hunu nyame su ne nyame ban a te se begin no ekwan be ne nyankopon fa so ba ya ye first god o enim ne ye maame ne ye papa because eno no ne ye de ebehunu that history na say okay in the beginning no nyame bo soro bo asase and obo bema owie no obebo oba but wo hwe awo mu nso a oba na ewo bema ye giver oba no ye receiver but at the end of the day the oba no na carry akwara no and na oba no so seed no so every month bia oba bia lay egg So what the make no every month be oba bi lay egg.
Yes.
Eno nti na edru ba bia na ovulate ya. That time no egg no aye sensitive no.
Yes.
Enti any sperm bi e be kan bi abe hatch.
Yeah.
Enti no oba ya kan mu a ye de yenka say ye boy ye se ye wo ye.
Yeah.
Enti beginning no ye sua firi ye nanam ho. Enti na de ahinta ye bia ye nanam na kire. Mo na ye gu nsama ye nananom no. Ye pese ye hunu wiase ase ne ye nananom so kire ye se ne foforo no me nana kua boatma me nana kwaku mosi me nana dakate ono no na kire se we ye enti ne se ye behunu wiase ahyase de a age se ye nananom nanim.
Fine. So our ancestors knew or may know. So we always get told, we have some books in front of us, the history and a lot of the knowledge and secrets of the world are within books, but we don't appear to have manuscripts or religious text or spiritual text to narrate or to remind us how the world was created.
Yeah.
And some other groups of people, other nations, other faiths seem to have that. So whether it's correct or not, they can refer to it. So I'm going to go back to my question again. Do we have a concrete explanation, even or theory, of how this world was created by the energy you talk about called God? Okay. Yes or no?
Okay. Yes. Your answer why
a theory.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Yeah. And the problem is say, if we are senashasi nyina no, enipa da sani ye de adwene toto ho, ani ehunu de anase ye putu some effort bi ne ehunu say, ani wi ahye ne sa ase say. Ohun sa wo hwe sa religious book ne mienu nyina na e kire say ye bo nipa.
Yep.
And now by enso ya mamre mu so a ya monipa ye wo nipa. Enti ye nya mesum mu no, say bi e pese ehunu so de obo soro bo asase no, won de bo nipa no, ye owo nipa wa monipa. Enti first nipa wo wiase a obaye eye oba ne bema.
At the same time.
At the same time. No.
Okay. I want to go even before the creation of a man and woman, the actual earth itself. Do we have an explanation for that? Before a man or woman came to inhabit the earth, again, there are other faiths that are able to have a story of how, on day one, this happened, day two, this happened. Do we have a story or it doesn't really exist?
Oh, yeah, and some kind of honor. No.
Yeah.
Say, Percy, who say, if we are said not to say, first word, it be a quite bad normal fast when you pam you, yeah. The entire can say, you can't say, if we are said no. You see a boy, ya boba ne bema at the same time.
Yeah.
Because sa enfimpadie na esi yi bema de no. Bu sa se bema ankasa ngoba, oba na oba.
I know.
Enti ne so be ka chem si yi bema mfimpade na de kobo oba de na bema no hwan na wo bema no.
Yes.
Oba na wo bema no.
Yes.
Enti beginning no de na nanom ye hunu ye ne se ewiase no yentimi enya so den ma nature no ene mu no ma nti no. Ye nim se sebe no Nyankopon na ye ka na asem no ye nom no ye ne asase su nyame o de aka nyina imagination obi a book bia obi a the concept of the baba because of person what ne de ase
of course
and you also no create some concept bi e be mo ate ase say Nyankopon kra na say de ye no no nye superhuman won so and no new colonialism ne politics ne normal na ekọ because those are the people who are omakremu say omu ye supremacy because omu ne nim wi ase but ye nanam so me ehunu say without oba no ka bema nothing because se bema ne ba kania hwan na ewo bema no oba na ewo sa bema no e na oba asase kra so ewo na you classify se asase ye mother nature because e oba because e produce nuane ma na element na aka no ensuo awia botan no so produce ensuo ni awia no dia bo asase no ba ye so na asase no ba ye na tima nyini ama nipa ye de adibi entu ba nature no kra na ye de toto kra na asase na ye friend so ye oba enti asase na ye kan so at the mekan enti omo say in the beginning no na ensuo na da asase so na sebe na asase so ye sakasaka dia na che asase da ho enti asase da ho dia na se ye be refer to nipa dia na che so oba ho ansa na be ma ebeba because oba na wo be ma no enti die be enti na eba ye nipa buamu a ye be ka se be ma na epani eba no sa ne de ya limit ye maame mo ma no enwunwa ma mo ma because ye mpese o mo benya position bia ye de agina enti no beginning no de miminim na mama mere ne mama ne mu no say oba ne be ma na ye wo mo at the same time
good
without them no you can't even just prove any evidence
fine
storybooks na akeka na be kire say concept about God no nyankopon ye say no saa time no na ye bibi man wo hodada o ye be read books Quran and Bible ni nyana no na nipa wo hodada e say nipa na no mo ho no so why na wo mo.
Good. So Nana, what I'm hearing then is that, and I think we're all here, if you're watching this video, I think you're part of the group of individuals that want to be truth seekers.
Yes.
We want to think. We don't want to just accept anything. And we're also willing to maybe listen to other people's theories and see if they align with ours or give us a different viewpoint, or indeed sometimes it reinforces what you already believe, and that's okay. So then I want to, from what the question I've asked you once or twice and from the response you've given, I think, is it okay? And I think it is okay to sometimes say, we don't actually know. We have a theory, and different groups of people have a theory. But am I hearing from you that from an African spiritual point of view, or from an Akan point of view, we don't actually have a concrete theory of how the world came to be what it is? Is that a fair assessment, or am I wrong?
Se oba yakan muna.
Yes.
Ye de na yenim se ye ne ye nyame represent any entity bi e wo bia.
Okay.
Enti se ebe hunu nyame a ye hunu ne su ne firi ye mu. Enti se ebe ka se bia ye sky daddy bi o baabi ana se ye nyankopon bia ye nim se on ne boss ro baabi no. Moment a ye de sa adwene ne be hye etirim no na ya amen na se be nature ne de maaye no no ya yela no. Enti se ye be ko nyame ho obegye die se wonye die se wo akomayale wo ho no awo se ye hunu se ye ni nyame. Enti ni kwan se ye hwe echi
Lovely. You said it's a time we also realize we're a form of God.
Yeah.
In a way. Some people consider that statement quite blasphemy, and but I always have read and understood the Bible and other religious texts to say that God made man in his image. So I also feel, you've mentioned the fact that a woman is a creator. I've always believed that a God cannot be, I don't believe a creator can be created by something that was essentially created also.
Book no mo kenkan na yesi nyame na boss ro bo asase and Jesus is God. Jesus na no nyame na dane ne ho e bae kwabena menu mienu nyina ye adanse ni say spirit mframa.
Yep.
It don't produce spirit mframa and produce sperm. So into the konyansem a eye den na ade a produce sperm etimi be wo e bitimi benyem ebia Jesus Mary benyem Jesus entu ba ya mamre mu a se sa o story na o kan na akasa yansi.
Fine. I'm going to put a pause on you just a bit there because, the whole story of Jesus Christ of Nazareth and all the rest of it, very contentious. It is the crux of a lot.
Yes,
and I think there's a time. Yes, there's exactly.
Yeah.
And there's also, I think, a time where that can be also discussed and looked into and debated. But I want to come back then to, at the beginning, and correct me, you're saying that a man and woman was created at the same time.
At the same time.
Fine. That's the best our minds could.
Without
a woman involved.
Say oba ni ho na be ma ni ho ayintimi nyaba. Enti uba ya mamre mu a eja oba ene na. Enti eja ne na ene ka bom wo ba.
Yes.
Enti se ye ka so okay eja na di nkan ba aka ne na ena no so firi hene na bae. Ene ena no so na be wo eja. Enim difo omo ma we num nyina na se omo de omo hu nyina wo ma we mu nyina no. Oba na wo.
Yep.
Ena ye ni eja oba no ho nkonkunu ye waja oba ne na.
Yeah.
Enti no ya hyase wo ya mamre mu no oba ne be me nyina at the same time.
Fine. And that man and woman, as you said, then produced children.
No.
And this is how the world was populated.
No ye hunu ewiase asase because oba ne be me ne hia no.
Yes.
Ene ma ye hunu ye wo mma.
Yes.
Ene ma no so be wo bie. Na bi mu wu na ye say wo bi gum. Enti wiase no entimi enya ne end da. So far as you go so worry, you go so twempene.
Yep.
Ye ni te say as wiase ne be say next and as be say china. Enti na ye nananom mo wu ko no, ya ne de ani die kase ma wo mo no. Ye nsom wo mo but ye kai wo mo so ma ya de because stress aye kura na enam na pese define dey about nyame no. Wo mo nso so timi betena ho matimi anyini de awu no. Wo mo timi putu good legacy de maaye. E me ye hunu say si epese ye hunu nyame dia me hunu me nua kwabena a we nyame me hunu me nua ni a we nyame me hunu me nua royal we nyame e de bentia nyame su ni nyame ban ye hunu firi nipa.
So now we're saying that, you know, man and woman existed essentially, was created together. You've mentioned, you know, the father, the female and the child. You've mentioned that we came from sort of Egypt, Israel, that part of the world. So I just want to touch upon some of the spiritual systems or understandings we see in Egypt in those old days, Kemet. Sometimes you hear this theory, and I don't believe, I think it feels, and from what I understand, seems true, that a lot of the religions that are there, organized religions, and indeed our African spiritual principles, they all came from and can be seen, evidence of it can be seen in Egypt because of the way they had their spiritual system. Is that true?